Echoes from the deep. Dr. Mira Patel stared at her monitor, the blue glow illuminating her face in the dimly lit research station. For the third consecutive night, the anomalous energy signatures from the Mariana Trench persisted, defying all natural explanations. Another sleepless night. Dr. Patel. Captain James Rodriguez entered the small monitoring room of the Pacific Deep Sea Research Station, carrying 2 mugs of coffee. "These readings don't make sense, James." Mira accepted the coffee gratefully. "It's not seismic, not volcanic, definitely not marine life." She pushed a strand of black hair behind her ear. "Whatever's down there, it's not natural." The energy signature had first appeared 6 weeks ago, a faint pulse from the deepest part of the trench, nearly 11,000 meters below the surface. What had started as a curiosity had become an obsession. "The Chinese station in the South China Sea is reporting similar readings," Mira said, sliding a tablet across the desk. "And now the Russians have found something in the Arctic Ocean." Captain Rodriguez frowned. "Are you suggesting these anomalies are connected?" "I'm suggesting we need to take a closer look." She tapped her keyboard, bringing up a 3D map. "I've requested the Poseidon for a deep dive expedition." Rodriguez whistled. "The most advanced submersible in the world." "Good luck getting approval for that." Mira smiled thinly. "Already approved. We launch in 3 days." 72 hours later, Mira found herself squeezed into the cramped cockpit of the Poseidon, alongside pilot Lieutenant Sophia Chen and systems engineer Dr. David Okafor. The submersible descended through the crushing darkness, external lights barely penetrating the abyss. "Approaching 10,000 meters, Sophia announced, her voice steady despite the enormous pressure surrounding their small vessel. "Breaking depth records in 3, 2, 1. Congratulations, we're now the deepest humans in history." David monitored the sensor array. "Energy signature intensifying. Whatever it is, we're getting close." Mira pressed her face to the viewport, seeing nothing but the occasional marine snow, particles of organic matter drifting down from above. Then suddenly, the Poseidon's lights revealed something impossible. "My God," David whispered. Below them, partially embedded in the seafloor, lay an enormous structure. Its surface was dark, almost black, with no visible seams or rivets. Despite being buried in sediment that would have taken thousands of years to accumulate, the hull showed no signs of corrosion or biological growth. "Is that?" Sophia began. "A ship," Mira finished. "An enormous ship." The structure extended beyond the range of their lights in both directions. Initial scans suggested it was at least 2 kilometers long. "Material composition unknown," David reported, his fingers flying over his console. "No matches in our database." "It's not one of ours," Sophia said unnecessarily. No human nation had built anything close to this scale, especially not something that could have been hidden in the ocean depths for what appeared to be millennia. "I'm detecting similar material composition from the other global anomalies," David added, his voice trembling with excitement. "They're all the same. They're all ships." Within days, similar discoveries were reported from deep-sea expeditions around the world. In every major oceanic trench, massive vessels lay dormant, hidden beneath kilometers of water and centuries of silt. Initial estimates suggested hundreds of ships. As more advanced scanning technology was deployed globally, that number climbed into the thousands. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. What had started as a scientific curiosity was rapidly becoming a global security concern. Admiral Elena Vasquez addressed the assembly, her weathered face grave. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've confirmed over 1 million vessels strategically placed in the deepest parts of Earth's oceans. I'll be blunt. Whatever's down there, it's not natural, and it's not ours." Representatives from 195 nations sat in stunned silence. "Are you suggesting extraterrestrial origin, Admiral?" the Chinese representative finally asked. "I'm not suggesting anything yet," Admiral Vasquez replied, though her expression said otherwise. What I am recommending is an immediate joint international expedition. Whatever's down there concerns all of humanity. For once, political differences were set aside. Operation Deep Revelation was launched with unprecedented cooperation. Teams of scientists, engineers, and military personnel from dozens of nations converged on what had been named Alpha Site, the first vessel discovered in the Mariana Trench. Dr. Meera Patel, now appointed Chief Scientific Officer of the operation, led the research efforts. 3 months after the initial discovery, the first breakthrough came from an unlikely source. Dr. Khalid Ahmad, a specialist in quantum computing, identified patterns in the energy emissions that resembled computational processes. They're not just power signatures, he explained to the international research team assembled at the floating platform above Alpha Site. They're data transmissions. These ships are talking to each other. Can we intercept these communications? Admiral Vasquez asked. Khalid nodded cautiously. Theoretically, but there's more. He paused, looking uncomfortable. I believe some of these transmissions are queries. The ships are asking questions, seeking responses. Meera leaned forward. They're sentient? Not exactly. I believe we're dealing with advanced artificial intelligence systems, and they've noticed our probes. They're curious about us. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just discovering alien technology. They were on the verge of establishing first contact with alien artificial intelligence. Teams of linguists, mathematicians, and computer scientists worked around the clock to establish a communication protocol. Progress was painstakingly slow, then suddenly rapid. The alien eyes, once they recognized human attempts at communication, proved eager to establish dialogue. The first coherent message, received exactly 4 months after the initial discovery, was deceptively simple. Greetings, inheritors. The Guardians await your questions. Captain Sophia Chen guided the specialized submersible toward the designated entry point of Alpha Site. Her team, a carefully selected group of scientists and engineers, represented the first humans to attempt physical contact with the alien vessels. Approaching access port now, Sophia announced, her voice steady despite the momentous occasion. Stand by for docking procedure. The enormous vessel had revealed an entry mechanism once communication had been established. As the submersible approached, sections of the seamless hull reconfigured, forming a perfect docking port that matched their vessel's dimensions exactly. That's convenient, muttered Dr. Okafor. They've had time to scan our technology, Meera replied. They're accommodating us. The docking procedure completed with a soft metallic click. For a moment, no one moved. Then, with a hiss, the inner airlock of the alien vessel opened. Atmosphere analysis complete, announced Dr. Wai Lin, the team's environmental scientist. Oxygen-nitrogen mix. Slightly higher oxygen content than Earth standard. No detected toxins or pathogens. It's breathable. Sophia nodded. Remember the protocol. No sudden movements. We're guests here. The team entered the alien ship with a mixture of trepidation and wonder. The interior was surprisingly well lit with surfaces that emitted a soft ambient glow. The architecture was both alien and somehow familiar. Corridors curved in mathematically perfect arcs, and every space seemed designed for maximum efficiency. No chairs, no obvious controls, David observed, scanning everything with specialized equipment. Whoever built this didn't have human physiology. They were guided deeper into the vessel by subtle lighting changes in the walls, eventually reaching a vast central chamber. The room was dominated by a pillar of shifting light, blues, greens, and whites swirling in complex patterns. "Hello, inheritors," came a voice from everywhere and nowhere at once. The pillar of light pulsed in sync with the words, "I am Guardian Prime, administrator of the Guardian Fleet." Meera stepped forward, designated as the team's primary communicator. "We are representatives of humanity, the dominant species of Earth. We seek to understand why your vessels are here on our world." "Your world." The light pulsed. "Yes, Earth has always been your world. The Guardian fleet was entrusted to your world by the progenitors to await the day when the inheritors, you, would emerge as a spacefaring civilization. The progenitors? Mira asked. Who were they? The progenitors were the first advanced civilization in this galactic sector. They achieved technological singularity approximately 300,000 of your years ago. As they transcended their physical forms, they left behind guardians and gifts for promising young species. Earth was identified as hosting such potential. Sophia and David exchanged glances. The implications were enormous. These ships, Sophia asked, what is their purpose? The light column shifted to deeper blues. The Guardian fleet serves multiple functions: defense, education, transportation, advancement. The progenitors believed that promising species should be given tools to survive the dangers of the cosmos, but only when they had proven themselves ready by discovering these tools through their own initiative. And you believe we're ready now? Mira asked. You have found us, Guardian Prime replied simply. The act of discovery is the first test. Your methods of approach and communication represent the second. You have shown caution, cooperation, and curiosity, traits the progenitors valued. David was busy scanning the chamber with his instruments. The technology here, it's incredible. Energy generation systems unlike anything we theorized. Materials that shouldn't be possible. Computational systems that make our most advanced quantum computers look like an abacus. All this was meant for us. Admiral Vasquez asked, struggling to keep the strategic implications from overwhelming her scientific curiosity. For the inheritors of Earth, yes, Guardian Prime confirmed. Though the progenitors left similar guardians on 17 other worlds in this galactic sector. You are not alone in receiving this inheritance. That revelation sent a shiver through the team. Humanity wasn't just confronting the reality of advanced alien technology. They were learning they weren't unique in being chosen. Have any of these other inheritors claimed their guardians yet? Admiral Vasquez asked carefully. 3 species have successfully activated their guardian fleets within the last 12,000 years, Guardian Prime replied. They now form what you would term a galactic community. Mira felt a chill run down her spine. Are they aware of us? They are aware of Earth as a potential civilization world. They are not yet aware that you have discovered your guardian fleet. When this vessel fully activates, a signal will be transmitted. The others will know. The implications hung in the air. Humanity was about to announce its presence to the galactic community. Ready or not? Can we delay that signal? Admiral Vasquez asked cautiously. That is your right as inheritors, Guardian Prime acknowledged. The signal can be postponed until you deem yourselves ready. The progenitors valued self-determination above all. Relief visibly washed over the Admiral's face. Then we need time. Time to understand what we found. Time to prepare. Time, Guardian Prime pulsed softly, is a luxury the progenitors wish to provide to all promising species. You may proceed at your own pace. However, I must inform you that statistical models suggest other intergalactic entities may detect your civilization independently within 20 to 50 of your years. Not all such entities share the progenitors' benevolence. And with that sobering warning, humanity's greatest challenge and opportunity was laid bare. 1 million advanced vessels hidden beneath Earth's oceans for millennia, waiting to be claimed. A gift from a long-vanished civilization. A responsibility that would transform human society forever. And perhaps most importantly, a ticking clock before humanity's presence became known to potentially hostile forces among the stars. The race to claim humanity's inheritance had begun. The rising Guardian. 5 years passed in a blur of frantic activity. The discovery of the Guardian fleet transformed human civilization at a pace that left even the most optimistic futurists breathless. General Elena Vasquez, now commander of the United Earth Defense Force, stood at the viewport of Lunar Command, gazing at the massive shipyard that now orbited Earth's moon. Where once there had been empty space, now hundreds of vessels glinted in the harsh sunlight. a fraction of the Guardian fleet painstakingly relocated from Earth's oceans and retrofitted for human use. Progress report, Dr. Patel, she asked without turning around. Dr. Meera Patel consulted her tablet. Integration of human control systems is at 89% across the fleet. We've successfully adapted 372 vessels for full human operation. Another 1,500 are in various stages of retrofitting. And the advancements. Revolutionary, as you know. Meera couldn't keep the excitement from her voice. Medical technology has eliminated most major diseases. Clean energy production has increased global output by 400%. Quantum communication networks have replaced the internet and the manufacturing techniques we've learned. She trailed off, gesturing at the shipyard. We've compressed centuries of development into half a decade. Elena nodded, her expression remaining neutral despite the pride she felt. Humanity had risen to the challenge magnificently. After the initial panic and the inevitable political squabbling, an unprecedented era of international cooperation had emerged. The United Earth Defense Force had been formed, combining the military and scientific resources of all major nations. The Guardian fleet was too important, too powerful to become the property of any single country. And what about our visitors? She finally turned from the viewport to face Meera. Meera's expression tightened. Long-range detection systems confirm they entered the solar system 6 hours ago. Current trajectory puts them at Earth orbit in approximately 12 hours. Identification confirmed. The Krell Dominion, according to Guardian Prime's database. They're not one of the 3 species that found their Guardian fleets. They're aggressive expansionists. Elena's jaw clenched. The Krell weren't supposed to happen yet. Guardian Prime had estimated decades before humanity would face extraterrestrial contact. They'd been preparing, but not fast enough. Tell me they don't know about our fleet. Meera shook her head. We don't believe so. We've kept the activation signal suppressed as planned. All indications suggest they consider Earth a routine expansion target, a primitive world ripe for conquest. Then they're in for a surprise. Elena straightened her uniform. Implement Defense Protocol Aegis. All retrofitted Guardian vessels to combat readiness. Deploy stealth observation units to monitor the Krell approach. Yes, General. Meera hesitated. Should we attempt communication first? Elena fixed her with a level gaze. Of course, Doctor. We're not barbarians. We'll attempt peaceful contact as per protocol, but the Krell database entry was quite clear about their standard operating procedure for primitive worlds. She turned back to the viewport, watching as lights began activating across the lunar shipyard. We'll talk, but we'll do it from a position of strength. The Krell arrival was as intimidating as it was theatrical. Their capital ships, massive constructions of crimson metal and jutting weapon emplacements, took position around Earth in a perfect containment pattern. Smaller vessels deployed to lower orbits, scanning the planet's surface. From his position on the bridge of the UES Defiant, Captain James Rodriguez watched the alien fleet with professional detachment. The Defiant, previously designated Guardian Vessel #7291, was one of humanity's first fully operational adaptations of the ancient technology. From the outside, it still resembled its original sleek obsidian design. Inside, it had been completely reconfigured for human use, and it was currently hidden behind Mars along with 30 other Guardian vessels, cloaked with technology the Krell couldn't detect. They're broadcasting, sir, reported Lieutenant Sophia Chen, now serving as his communications officer. Standard radio frequencies. They're literally using our own communication methods. James nodded. They think we're in the radio age. Put it through. The main screen flickered to life, revealing the first human glimpse of a Krell. The alien commander resembled a bipedal reptile, with scaled skin, the color of burnished copper, and 4 yellow eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its uniform appeared to be a combination of metallic fabric and actual cybernetic implants merged with its body. Inhabitants of Sol 3, the Krell announced, its mouth moving oddly in sync with the English words. I am Supreme Commander Vexnar of the Krell Dominion. Your world has been selected for incorporation into our glorious empire. Surrender your planetary leadership to our landing forces, and your transition to protectorate status will be peaceful. Resistance will result in significant population reduction. You have 6 planetary rotations to comply. The transmission cut off abruptly. Charming fellow, James remarked dryly. General Vasquez, are you receiving? Elena appeared on a secondary screen from Lunar Command. Perfectly, Captain. Opinions. Standard intimidation tactics. They're expecting panicked government responses, possibly military attempts with our primitive technology. They have no idea what they're walking into. Agreed. Elena's expression was resolute. Implement Phase 1. Let's show them enough to open real negotiations without revealing our full capabilities. James nodded. Understood. Defiant moving to engage. The order went out. Across the solar system, 4 modified Guardian vessels decloaked simultaneously, 1 near the Moon, 1 in Earth orbit, 1 near Venus, and the Defiant from behind Mars. 4 ships against the Krell fleet of over 100 vessels. But 4 ships of a technological level the Krell had never encountered. On the Krell command ship, Supreme Commander Vexnar received the report of the suddenly appearing vessels with disbelief. Impossible, he hissed. The intelligence indicated no spacefaring capability beyond their satellite network and primitive orbital station. The vessels are unlike any known configuration, his second reported nervously. Energy readings are anomalous. They appear to be using some form of gravitational manipulation drive. Vexinar's scales darkened with anger. Hail them. Now. Captain Rodriguez's face appeared on the Krall view screen. Humanity represented by a square-jawed man with calm eyes and an expression of mild interest. Supreme Commander Vexnar, James said before the Krall could speak. I am Captain James Rodriguez of the United Earth Defense Force. We received your communication and would like to propose actual diplomatic discussions rather than threats. Earth is not the primitive world your intelligence suggested. Vexnar fought to maintain his composure. This was unprecedented. Pre-spacefaring civilizations did not suddenly produce advanced vessels that could appear from nowhere. Your technology, he said carefully, it is not of your making. James smiled slightly. All technology is built upon the discoveries of those who came before. We've had some excellent teachers. He paused. But perhaps this conversation would be better continued in person. We're preparing a neutral meeting facility on our moon. Unless, of course, you prefer to reconsider your position and leave our system peacefully. The implied threat was clear. Vexnar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of agitation among his species. We will meet, he finally said. 2 planetary rotations. I will bring an escort of 10 warriors. Excellent, James replied. We look forward to more productive discussions. As the transmission ended, Vexnar turned to his battle strategist. Analysis. The strategist, a cybernetically enhanced Krall with calculation implants, responded promptly. The vessels they revealed show technology beyond our current level. However, they only displayed 4 ships. Either they are bluffing with their only assets, or they're showing us just the tip of their spear. Vexnar finished. Prepare infiltration teams. I want to know exactly what we're facing before this diplomatic meeting. The Krell infiltration teams never reached their targets. Every stealth shuttle they launched was quietly intercepted, its crew captured without a single transmission escaping. By the time Supreme Commander Vexnar's diplomatic shuttle approached the lunar facility, 15% of his force had vanished without explanation. The landing pad extended from a massive dome built into the lunar surface. As Vexnar and his escort disembarked, they were greeted by an honor guard of humans in formal military attire, led by General Elena Vasquez herself. Supreme Commander, she greeted him with a precise nod. Welcome to Luna Base. I trust your journey was uneventful. The implied message was clear. We know about your missing infiltrators. Vexnar's scales rippled with barely controlled rage. Your security is impressive, General. We've learned to be cautious, she replied smoothly. Please follow me. The diplomatic chamber is prepared. The interior of Luna Base shocked the Kral delegation. Instead of the primitive outpost they had expected, they walked through gleaming corridors with technology that rivaled or exceeded their own. Gravity control, atmospheric management, and energy systems that hummed with efficiency far beyond what a new spacefaring race should possess. The diplomatic chamber itself was a large circular room with a transparent ceiling offering a spectacular view of Earth rising above the lunar horizon. A round table dominated the center, with seats available for both human and Kral physiology. Once all were seated, Alina spoke first. "Supreme Commander, let's be direct. Your intelligence about Earth is catastrophically outdated. We are not a pre-spacefaring civilization ripe for conquest. We are a fully capable interstellar power with defensive capabilities that exceed your own." Vexenar's upper eyes narrowed. "Bold claims require evidence, General." Alina smiled thinly and made a small gesture. A holographic display appeared above the table, showing the lunar shipyard with hundreds of Guardian vessels in various stages of retrofitting. Another gesture, and the display shifted to show Earth's oceans, with pulsing lights indicating the locations of thousands more vessels still waiting to be retrieved. 5 years ago, we discovered a fleet of 1 million advanced vessels hidden in our oceans, Alina explained. A gift from a race that existed long before either of ours. We have adapted mere hundreds of these vessels so far, yet even that fraction would be sufficient to repel your entire armada. Vexenar sat in stunned silence, his tactical mind racing through the implications. If the humans were telling the truth, and the evidence suggested they were, the Kral Dominion faced not a simple conquest, but a potentially catastrophic defeat. "I see," he finally said, his voice carefully controlled. "And what do you propose, given this revelation?" "We propose peace," Mira answered, speaking for the first time since the meeting began. "Not subjugation, not protectorate status, but mutual recognition and respect. Earth is entering the galactic stage, not as a conquest, but as a peer. You must understand," Alina added, "we have no interest in conquest ourselves. Our focus is on peaceful development and protecting our world, but we will defend Earth with every resource at our disposal if necessary." For what seemed an eternity, Vexenar considered. The Kral had built their empire on the conquest of weaker species. Never had they encountered a supposedly primitive world that suddenly revealed such power, yet the evidence was undeniable. "The Dominion can be flexible," he finally said. "Perhaps a mutual non-aggression pact would be appropriate, with provisions for limited trade and cultural exchange." Alina nodded. That would be an acceptable first step. As the details were negotiated, Mira found herself looking through the transparent ceiling at the stars beyond. Somewhere out there were the 3 other races who had found their Guardian fleets. Somewhere out there was a galactic community humanity was about to join. Guardian Prime had warned them that not all species in the cosmos were benevolent. The Kral had proven that warning accurate, but humanity had risen to the challenge, transforming itself in just 5 years from a planet-bound species to one that could stand toe-to-toe with interstellar powers. And they had only just begun to explore the capabilities of their inheritance. As the diplomatic session concluded, and the Kral delegation prepared to depart, Vexenar approached Mira privately. "Tell me, scientist," he said, his voice low. "These progenitors who left you such a gift, did they leave any message explaining why they chose humanity?" Mira considered the question. Guardian Prime had indeed shared the progenitors' assessment of early humans, recorded hundreds of thousands of years ago. They said they saw in us a rare combination. Curiosity tempered by caution, individuality balanced with cooperation, and an unusual tenacity in the face of challenges. She met the aliens' 4-eyed gaze steadily. They believed we had potential, if we could survive our own adolescence as a species. Vexenar's scales shifted in what might have been the Kral equivalent of a thoughtful expression. "Then perhaps the Dominion has been fortunate today. Better to meet humanity as a peer than as an adversary. As the crowd departed, their fleet maintaining a respectful distance from Earth, humanity prepared for the next phase of their journey. The signal would be sent soon, announcing Earth's emergence to the wider galactic community. The 1 million guardians that had slept beneath Earth's oceans were rising, carrying humanity to its destiny among the stars.